A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to restore all national park signs that were changed after an executive order from the president. It directed the Interior Department to take action against public content that inappropriately disparage Americans. That included changing signs at the Sand Creek Massacre National Historic Site and Amache National Historic Site here in Colorado. Now a federal judge has overturned that order. Here to talk about this is our 9 News legal analyst, Whitney Traylor. Why did the judge order for these signs to be restored?
Yeah, so the judge, this was a lawsuit that was initiated by a historical society saying, hey, you're essentially whitewashing our history. And the judge said, yep, I agree with that. This is a whitewashing, because this was an executive order from President Trump in March of last year, in which he basically said any sites that contain inappropriate, this is the exact language, inappropriately disparages Americans past or living. So essentially they're saying anything that reflects negatively on the country should be removed. And so they started doing that. The judge issued this order. It's now everything that's being removed is supposed to be replaced by July 4th. It sounds like the administration is going to appeal it, though.
So they don't want to do this. And this is, I mean, critics of the administration are saying they're just trying to erase history here.
Correct.
What's going to happen? Is this a holding pattern now? And then it goes back and forth in the courts?
Yes.
And so are they having to take them down short term or put them up short term?
Well, that's a great question. So the judge said, no, you have to replace everything. You have to put it back. So all the history you were erasing, and this related to civil rights, slavery, segregation, Native American history, all of these things they essentially took down because it, quote unquote, inappropriately disparaged Americans. And so the judge is saying, no, you have to put this stuff back up. This is our history. This is what national parks are created for, or one of the purposes of these national parks is to help us understand and celebrate our history, negative or positive. And so the administration said no, because remember, with an executive order, the president can essentially order these federal agencies to do different things. So that's why he said to the National Park Services, anything that disparages America, we don't want it, which is absurd. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, part of any country is its history. That's what creates its current state of society. And our history, positive and negative, is very relevant today. So the judge said, no, it needs to be replaced by July 4th. It apparently is going to be appealed, and we'll see if the appellate courts agree.
Yeah, and concerning for a lot of reasons, because we know this will trickle down into our school systems and what our kids learn,
right.
And, you know, the history that's reflected in their education. But it seems like this could set a really scary precedent. Friday is Juneteenth. How soon before that gets rolled back and that's no longer a nationally recognized holiday? It just seems like, where do we draw the line here?
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and it really is. I think the collective consensus is that there's not an agreement with erasing our history, right? I mean, this is part of our history, and it's not really about the signs. It's about, I don't know whether public lands should tell the most flattering version of our history or the most critical version or the fullest version. And I think most academics, historians, I think most of society would say, we want to see the fullest version, and let's grow from it, let's learn from it. And so this administration essentially trying to really whitewash history is, according to this judge, unlawful. And the administration did this under the this was challenged under the Administrative Procedure Act, essentially saying this was arbitrary and capricious. You didn't have a real basis for removing these signs. And so that's the legal argument. There's also the obvious cultural and societal argument, but the legal argument, that's how it's framed.
And our parks are where we're going to teach our children about what happened in our past. And it's also erasing the descendant stories of what happened. It's just, we have to learn these things. I mean, it's awful to think about Sand Creek and about Amache and to think about what happened, but we have to learn about them.
Yeah. No, when you think about the 1864 massacre, you had, 200 Cheyenne and Arapaho people who were killed, and these were children, elderly,
women.
Women. It was atrocious, and I don't know. I think our state has grown from that. And so the fact that you're trying to diminish it is, I think, unlawful. This is what the judge said. This judge in Massachusetts said this was unlawful. And then, of course, this has this societal impacts. And I think there's a lot of people who are saying the idea of erasing our history does an injustice because we can show how much we've grown from that. But this administration has, with executive orders, and this president has been abundantly consequential, using these executive orders. You know, they're not statutes, they're not laws passed by Congress. This is just one signature by the president that essentially dictates what we're going to do. And that's not how our government is really supposed to work.
Well, we know this is going to be followed up now since there's probably going to be an appeal in work. So come back.
All right. We'll talk about it on the appeal.
We'll say, Whitney, we need you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll come back.